Honor.
Colton.
Bolton.
Bolton.
B as in boy.
Good morning, Mr. Bolden. So you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 7 days that you've already done. Is this what you want to do, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You understand that you're pleading guilty, right?
Yes.
You understand it's going to go on your record, right?
Yes, sir.
You need to understand from now on, you are facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, you cannot change this or undo this. You still want to do this?
Yes, sir.
You know, Mr. Bolden, if you come back, good things happen. It's not hard, you know? Just don't say anything now. For future reference, when you come to court, good things happen. Everybody works here is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Failing to appear.
Yes.
Come back. Good things will happen for you.
Yeah.
How do you plead to the offense of criminal trespass? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'll find you guilty. I will follow the agreement. I'm going to roll your court costs so you won't owe anything. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Carl.
Mr. Bolton.
Sure. Believe it. You're harder to catch than a leprechaun, man.
Yeah, they're always after me, Lucky Charms.
He's
For real.
been here for a minute, Judge.
This is the first time I've seen him in like 3 years.
Oh,
Well, maybe
well,
2.
he's been here since October.
How are you? You had cases, I guess, out of county. Was it Montgomery County or something like that?
Chambers.
Where was it? Chamber. Oh, ooh. Gotta be careful out there.
I know, they're coming on the highway.
Give me the last name again, please.
Colbert,
That's right, Mr. Cole.
and he's on today's docket on the jail docket.
All right. So you just entered in these 2 probations.
Yes, sir.
Be very, very careful. Because there's only so many times that they're gonna bend over to help you out before they send you to prison. So you have to have a halo on your head when you're on 2 felony probations, especially for this, what you got now.
Yes, sir.
It's not hard. If you're hanging around bad people, they're gonna bring you down. It's just a matter of time. Just break away. Here you're charged with failure to identify oneself as a fugitive from justice. So it's a class A misdemeanor. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 30 days in jail, credit for the 118 days that you've already done. This will go on your record. You need to understand from now on with us here in misdemeanor, any more cases that you ever pick up, you're looking at a minimum of 90 days in jail.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, there's no turning back.
Sir.
This is what you want to do.
Sir.
How do you plead to the offense, sir? I'll find you guilty. I'll sentence you to 30 days in jail, give you credit for the 118. If it's enhanced, abandon, please. Good luck. Just follow the rules. And if you ever have any problems, go back to the court. You're in a friendly court. They'll help you out. No issues ever. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cole. Thank you.
Thank you. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Morning, Mr. Spencer. How are you? It looks like you have picked up a failure to stop and give information, which is essentially leaving the scene of an accident. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. I have no idea what happened on your case, so we're going to do probable cause at this point. The only thing I do know is that you're set at no bond at this point, that's not a good thing. So we're going to set you a bond. I just don't know what. And I do know that it looks like out of the same transaction, you picked up also 2 aggravated assaults with a deadly weapon. Those are each set at 150,000. So with that in mind, please.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Spencer, before they read this, this is your attorney, Alan Williams. Do not say anything. Just let them read the probable cause, okay?
Yes, Judge. On September 18, 2024, officers were dispatched to a suspicious person call in Harris County, Texas. The officers were investigating and noted the vehicle involved in an aggravated assault matched the description of a truck in a hit and run case. The officer observed a blue Sierra parked on a construction site and observed the Sierra to have a broken right front headlight. The officer ran the license plate and learned the truck was listed as a suspicious vehicle in a failure to stop and give information. The officer met with the owner of the Sierra, the defendant, and the defendant stated he is the owner of the blue Sierra and that he is the only one that drives the truck. The defendant stated that on September 15th, his daughter used the truck and told him she was involved in an accident, but did not give any information to the other driver. The officer spoke with the complainant who stated that on September 15th, he was parked at a gas station and he was pumping gas when the defendant struck his vehicle on the front driver's side. The complainant stated the defendant drove away, sideswiping his vehicle, and the complainant called 911 and followed the defendant as he drove away to a nearby gas station. The complainant stated he observed the defendant almost strike a building while driving in front of the gas station, and the complainant remained in visual contact of the defendant and watched him exit the vehicle and enter the gas station, stumbling while almost falling over while walking. The complainant stated the defendant remained in the store for about 10 minutes before leaving the store, and that the driver of the truck was a white male, and the complainant stated the defendant caused $3,000 worth of damage to his vehicle. And the officer reviewed surveillance video from the gas station and saw the defendant as the only occupant of the vehicle.
Okay, what happened with the ag assaults?
So it was, I believe that when the officers were called for the FSGI, when they were called to that place, I think it was an apartment complex or construction site. They, I think, noted that that was the vehicle that the suspect in the ag assault had been driving at the time of the ag assault, because the ag assault occurred at an apartment complex. I think that's how they connected them.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how they, I guess, connected this defendant,
What was
but it
it?
wasn't out of the same transaction.
Was it though? Did he hit someone with the car?
No, Judge. So the officers were dispatched to an apartment complex. The complaining witness or a witness stated the defendant was firing a gun while out of the vehicle. Officer spoke with the complaining witness, age 13, who states that he was walking with friends and observed a Hispanic male sitting in a truck parked on a street, arguing with a black male inside the apartment complex in the gated area in Harris County, Texas. Complaining witness stated he observed the male in the truck pull a handgun and start shooting in his general vicinity. The complaining witness was struck in the knee, requiring medical treatment. I believe a different complaining witness states that he and his friends were near the pool area of the apartment complex and heard gunshots and started running and realized that I guess their friend had been shot in the foot. But yes.
Okay. Do you guys have a recommendation as to a bond?
We're gonna ask the bond be set at $10,000, Judge.
Did you hear that, Alan?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. Given the circumstances, that would be a good one.
You're in agreement then?
Yes, Your Honor. He's currently on a parole hold as well. And his current bond at felony level is, I think, set at $150,000.
Right. So there is a parole hold. So I guess this doesn't, I was going to do a no driving affidavit, but I mean, don't drive. You know, there are happy drivers and then there are people who are not happy drivers, right? Just don't drive, please. All right. We'll set your bond at, Mr. Spencer, I'll set your bond at 10,000. If you bond out, you must come here. Well, I guess you can't bond out. He's got a blue warrant, right? You know, what's he on parole for? Do you know?
NCIC.
Yeah, Judge, sorry. There's a little bit of criminal history.
Aggravated robbery for you.
Okay. Thanks. But just don't, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but if you do somehow get out, please come back here for the next business day for bond conditions. But as a condition of your bond, I'm ordering you not to drive now, regardless. Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do is I guess we'll wait it out to see what happens upstairs. We'll just keep this rolling with that. And at some point, something will happen and then, you know, but yeah. All right. Good luck, Mr. Spencer. All right. Thanks.
Daniel, yes, sir, no, sir, on Flair's side. All he's doing is setting the rules that you want to follow, okay?
Yes, sir.
What's the name?
Bledsoe. Evading arrest and terroristic threat. He was in custody because he had a pending felony with 228. So he's bonded out on all. The evading, I think, is 12 yards per the officer.
So I see that on 10/17 of 24, he picks up a felony assault. And 3 days later, he picks up a terroristic threat, and then he picks up an evading arrest. And they give him PR bonds on these cases? Is that what happened? And he
He
cleared,
bonded out since his last setting. I didn't check to see if there were PRs or not, Judge. I know that he had to pay money in felony court.
yeah, it's just, I'm not down with PR bonds on this. I mean, he picks up 2 new cases if it's the same. Well, hold on a second. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You've now picked up 2 new cases. You picked up a terroristic threat. You picked up an evading arrest.
I will say our cases are the new cases, so I wouldn't call them
Alright.
new, they're just cases. Well, he picked up the felony, and then afterwards he picked up these 2 missing.
He got a bond in October. How on earth is it?
He was in custody, I think, on the felony.
Oh, I see. Okay, and then he bonded out of the, right, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Please, what happened?
On October 19, 2024, officers were dispatched to a minor crash at a residential home in Harris County, Texas. The call described a male at the location crashing his motor vehicle, then pulling a gun and was trying to fight people at the location. When officers arrived at the location, they observed people at the location pointing at the defendant. Upon contact with the defendant, the officers introduced themselves as Houston police and told them to stop. The defendant then walked into his residence and came back out approximately 2 minutes later. The officers instructed the defendant to come towards them, but the defendant began to evade on foot from the officer the second time. The defendant ran approximately 12 yards from the officer before placing him in handcuffs. A person search on the defendant revealed he had a prior arrest and an active felony warrant. Upon contact with the complainant advised the defendant was driving up and down the street in his car and crashed. The complainant stated the defendant began to tell the complainant he was going to shoot him and kill him. The complainant advised the defendant then began to reach into his waistband and kept saying he was going to shoot him. The complainant feared for his life and felt threatened by the defendant's statement.
I will say, gun was never found, no charges where the gun were ever filed. They charged him with terroristic threat. They would have charged him with ag assault if the police had believed that a firearm was used.
Mr. Bledsoe, let me make something perfectly clear to you. I will do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. And I don't care if I have to make your bond $2 million. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. Do you understand?
Yes,
I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what, nothing. I want my county safe. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me that you're not going to have any weapons whatsoever. And if I find that you have a weapon, I can have a contempt hearing. You're looking at 180 days in jail every time if you're caught with a gun. Do you understand? I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is going to be in your system as well. I'm ordering you not to use alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to test you like crazy. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living?
I work for Leland Airmark Bakery.
Okay, that's what you need to concentrate on. Working a lot so that your time is occupied. When you have too much time on your hands, you become self-destructive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do
You're
you
right about
have, thank you. Do you have a Texas driver license?
that.
It's a yes or it's a no. Then you're not allowed to drive. On this affidavit, you will also be promising me that you're not going to drive. Do you?
Do you have a different state's driver's license?
City?
He asked if you have a Texas driver's license. Do you have a driver's license from any other state?
No, I'm from Houston.
Okay, sorry. I'm just making sure you didn't have
Do
Louisiana or something.
not drive. I am also putting on this affidavit that you're not going to drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You're looking around, you're just Heed this warning, Mr. Bledsoe. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I totally understand. I only have one off day. I just sleep all day.
Did I hear him say that he had an objection?
No,
Judge,
no, most
He was
definitely not.
he was just
No.
asking me a question.
Okay,
No
just
objections.
don't use. Stay out of trouble. You're in enough hot water as it is. You know, the thing is, Mr. Bledsoe, is that a lot of people make very, very poor choices when they're out there in life. And sometimes that choice makes it to where you will live the next 40 years in a 6x9 box. And I'm going to tell you now, I've read have you been to prison before?
Nope.
I've read, I want you to hear me. I've read stuff about what happens in prisons, and it had me in tears. It was as bad as could possibly, if you think of your worst nightmare, it's worse in our Texas prisons. They don't give a rat's behind about you, and you will be passed around like a proverbial doll. It's awful. Believe me, it's not worth it. Don't have a gun.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Judge, did you want the contact I'm referring from as well?
Yeah.